and sell your business and truly move on to an exit stage right when that time comes for you to move on to your next adventure. I'm Martha Sullivan, and welcome to this Exit Stage Right. We are thrilled to have you join us here today. So, as I said, this is a show where we talk about the business of business and ways that you can become your best and brightest self in your business, as well as your business thrive, so you can achieve that financial security that you so desire. So today we're going to talk about gratitude, because it is getting on Thanksgiving time, and November is National Gratitude Month. And I got to thinking about how important please and thank you are. And I really believe please and thank you can truly drive your business value, and it doesn't cost that much necessarily to say it either. So let's dive in and talk about that. So we all know, when we were growing up in little tykes, we were constantly being told, say please, say thank you. We learned the power of please and thank you from our parents, and we were told that these words hold magical powers. When you say please, you are more likely to get what you need, get what you're asking for. When you say thank you, you increase the likelihood that future interactions with that individual are going to be positive. And not only are you demonstrating that gratitude and respect, but it really, sets the tone of the relationship. And it's largely been ingrained into our personal day-to-day lives that we practice these simple but so powerful courtesies. But what's interesting is, even though we're trained to, when somebody hands you something in the kitchen, to say thank you, or you're at the dining room table, could you please pass the beans, or you're out at a meeting and somebody opens the door for you, you're likely to say thank you. But what's interestingly is we don't necessarily carry that into the business meetings, into our workplaces, which is just, my goodness, we're missing the boat. Because according to research, people crave more recognition in the workplace, both the freedom to give it and the opportunity to receive it. So according to the John Templeton Foundation, they did a survey of about 1,000 adults around this concept of recognition and gratitude in the workplace. And what they found was that 80% of the respondents believed that their supervisors did not recognize or appreciate the work that they do for them. They didn't recognize and appreciate their contributions. And 56% of them really wish that they would. So that's an important message. Furthermore, 90% don't feel like their coworkers recognize their efforts and what they do. And 43% of them wish they would. So that tells you that people feel like they're working hard and doing their job well, and sometimes going that extra mile, but nobody's noticing. Overall, in this survey, 40% of the respondents said that they would indeed put more energy into their work if they felt they were being recognized and noticed for it. Granted, 40% isn't a majority, but think about it. If these 1,000 people were in your organization, that's 400 people that would put a little more spring in their step if they felt noticed and recognized for their accomplishment. 400 more people would have more energy and give a little bit more in the workplace. That's That's significant. That is significant. So, why are the simple practices of acknowledgement, appreciation, recognition, and gratitude, why is it missing from our workplace? I think there's a mix of factors that play into it, including the attitudes and the tone at the top, our own personal confidence and competence in offering recognition. And lastly, the fear about maybe not doing it right, fear that the recipient may not take it as it's intended. All very real factors that play into it. So let's talk about the tone and the attitudes at the top. We know, I know that if mom and dad never emulate please and thank you and gratitude and recognition, that has an impact on the vibe of the house and the kids. It also has an impact on the skill sets and willingness, the practice of please and thank you in the next generations. So we know that this has got to carry over directly into the workplace because the tone at the top around recognition and gratitude flows to all the other areas of the organization. Interestingly, there are those leaders that feel that there isn't a need. There's no need to express gratitude or recognition because doggone it, your paycheck is your recognition. Thank you very much. That's the job I'm paying you to do. Period. End of story. The Templeton survey kind of corroborated this in a way, but not exactly. They bring out a different angle on it. And that is that 35% of their respondents felt that if you expressed gratitude at work, that it could lead to people taking advantage of you. That showing appreciation or commenting and recognizing somebody's hard work, that put you in a place of vulnerability. Oh my goodness. That just boggles my mind. And the research does not bear that out in any way, shape, or form. For those leaders that are on that gerbil wheel of there's no place for recognition and appreciation and common courtesies necessarily in work, that's a long, hard gerbil wheel to get off of. I get that, especially if you think that courtesy and gratitude is just setting up a trap for you. Unfortunately, Newsbreak 3, that's a personal problem that if somebody has that mindset, they have to work on that mindset. But I can tell you that there are many others in the world, other fantastic leaders that know that is not the right approach. I want to tell you about my friend Sharon. She is a colleague, a client that I've worked with. I worked with her and her team, and she is the exact opposite. Sharon is the president of a very large company, and she has been leading through example all through the pandemic, as well as some very significant changes in the organization. In every meeting that I've been in with Sharon and her her executive team, she has always found a way, an opportunity to notice and express gratitude for something that's gone on in the meeting. It might be gratitude for somebody having the courage to share their perspective or the delivery of a result. It might be for somebody navigating a really challenging and difficult situation. And she brings it out in a way that isn't sugary or feels like, oh, it's just patronizing sweet talk. It's not her. It's genuine and it's from the heart, and it's fact-based as well. So it's not frivolous in any way. At the same time, and this speaks to the tone at the top, at the same time, when she witnesses unfortunate or negative behavior amongst the team, she will address it in an appropriate way. So there was one meeting where one of her colleagues was, I think, very intentional. She wanted to raise some issues that were on her mind in terms of things that were not going well in the business and she hoped could be addressed. And while she was talking about the process around the things that weren't going well, the person who was in charge of those, you could see, this was on Zoom, you could see that they were getting visibly uncomfortable. Not outwardly, but I specifically watched to see how he was reacting, and you could tell from little subtle signs that it wasn't sitting well. And Sharon noticed it too, because at the break, when it was just her and I, she said, I need to go talk to him and make sure he is well grounded for the rest of the conversation. And she also made a point of talking to the person that was taking issue with the process. Because while there were issues with the process, there was no two ways about it. There was also a tone at the top of, we're going to be mindful of how we have constructive conflict and debate around issues in the company, and at the same time not make the other person feel either unnoticed or the fact that there are other things that are going well. The result is truly that team has phenomenal constructive debate and problem solving skills. And Sharon has a team of leaders that are motivated, truly motivated and excited to work and support with one another to achieve some super aggressive goals for growth and ultimately better performance and results. The tone at the top really does matter. And the attitude around, do we show gratitude, it is kind of contagious. Once somebody hops off that gerbil wheel that says, ooh, it makes you vulnerable, if you hop off that gerbil wheel and you demonstrate that, oh, it was okay to say that, and gee, I felt better for saying it and noticing it, and the smile on his face when I said that was worth the risk of being vulnerable. So it really can be infectious in a good way as well if you start practicing it. Let's talk about the competence and confidence around providing recognition and noticing someone, because I think that ties in with this vulnerability piece to it. You know, like any new skill, practicing gratitude and providing recognition in the workplace, especially if it's not something that's done, the only way you get better at it is practice. It's kind of like when you're learning any new skill. I remember when I was taking golf lessons, they were talking about muscle memory. And yep, you do this enough time, your swing will just become in muscle memory. And it goes to that statement that you have to do something 10,000 times to master it. Well, in terms of the golf swing, it's probably more like 10 million times for me. And I can assure you that's never going to happen. But it really is true that muscle memory only grows as we work the muscle. And so it may be a matter of starting small. It may be noticing a little something with your coworker, or if you have direct reports, doing little things like a treat day or something like that. Now, you can hop on the web and you will find a ton of different ideas on ways that you can show gratitude, recognition, and appreciation in the workplace. Some of the ideas are monetary. They're going to cost you $1 or $2. But many of them are not. Many of them really are much more of a gesture than a cost per se, or an out-of-pocket cost. Selecting which idea is going to be most effective for this situation really demands consideration of what is it that deserves recognition? What is the culture of your organization? What's going to fly there and seem consistent? And how is the recipient likely to take it, receive it, acknowledge it, and process it? All of those aspects, all three of those aspects, in terms of what deserves recognition, how are we going to do it, what is it consistent with the culture, and how is it going to be received? All of those need to be aligned. So, for example, if having worked in a CPA firm for many, many years, it was always a big deal to have the after-tax party. And many firms for many years had, obviously you have the April 15th, let's go out and lose our minds afternoon on the 15th. But then very often, a week or two later, there would be a very nice dinner party, if you will, for the entire firm, celebrating tax season being done and all that sort of stuff. And the fact of the matter is after working busy season and the 70-80 hour weeks, dollars to donuts, the last thing people wanted to do was have to get dressed up and go put a smile on their face and talk smart and happy at a business function, let alone with the coworkers that they just spent 70 or 80 hours a week with. It was it consistent with the culture, having a nice dinner in a professional environment and all that sort of stuff. Yes, that's lovely, but the timing and the context wasn't really the right thing. It wouldn't really resonate and feel like a reward or a recognition. It felt more like a forced march. Giving one person accolades because they happened to be the team lead when it was really the team that got something done, that can backfire. I think about a construction company, and if they wanted to recognize the fact that the guys worked so hard during the season, dollars to donuts, they shouldn't be giving them Michael's Craft Store gift cards. That might be appealing to the person who gets to choose what the reward is, but that may not really be attractive to a bunch of folks that work construction. I'm just saying, I could be wrong, but again, you want to be really thoughtful and intentional around thinking about your recognition programs. As you do that, as you think about it, and maybe bounce ideas off people, see, well, if we did this or did that, what do you think? You'll gain more confidence and more competence in this area. So the last piece is trying to judge and understand how the recipient might take it in and process it. Because let's face it, there are diverse ways that we take in recognition. And it's easy, especially if you're thinking about company-wide recognition, it's easy to paint with a big, broad brush and choose to go a wide swath. Well, of course, wouldn't everybody enjoy going to that dinner? Well, no, not really. And the piece that I want to just kind of share is relative to, I work with the DISC assessment, DISC personality assessment or style assessment tool. And I know, depending on which of the letters you are in terms of supportive, or you're more compliance oriented, or you're more dominant, or whichever, you have a different propensity for how you like to receive and take in recognition. There are those people that just crave the public attention, and they love to hear their name announced. They beam as they come on the stage and um, give the opening comments or receive their award and make a few comments. Those people love being in the limelight, and that's how they really see and value and process recognition and being noticed. Other people, on the other hand, would be flat out mortified, like I'm going to have an anxiety attack if you make me do this, to get up on stage or to be recognized at a public event. We have these different ways, and depending on what the form of recognition is, you want to be very mindful of how you do it, how you deliver it, how you tailor it, and think about it, if you can, beforehand. So you are being intentional, so that if you know that somebody's painfully shy, you know that the best way to give them the gift card is to probably pull them in your office and say, hey, I just want to tell you, you and me, person to person, I appreciate you. I noticed what you did. As opposed to when you're at a team lunch or something like that. The other piece that I want to bring up is think about that context. And context means a couple of different, a variety of things. One is the environment, i.e., is it in front of a group? Is it private? The other is, what is the physical environment in which the being noticed is taking place? And are there, again, is it compatible with the culture? And I will never, ever forget my prime example of this. I was at an industry conference where it was a big industry conference. Every year they would have their annual winter conference, and they would have their recognition and awards program, and where they gave out the Member of the Year award and the Thought Leader of the Year award. And this was a national organization. And this year, the event was in Las Vegas. And the woman who won Member of the Year, oh my goodness, she so deserved it. She went above and beyond and did things that were really game-changing for the local chapter level. And the gentleman that got the Thought Leader award is somebody I consider to be a friend and a colleague, and he's pretty down to earth, and he's very much a family man. So unfortunately, the person that was coordinating the awards show didn't put much thought into this, because he believed that since we were in Vegas, it should be like a Vegas old style show, complete with the little models in their little skimpy outfits and their feather wings and their little feather hats and things of that nature. He invited them to come assist him in giving out the awards and make sure that everybody got a picture with him, with the two Vegas girls and the award winner in a photo to commemorate the event. Talk about it being uncomfortable for the female award winner, and uncomfortable for the guy as well, for the Thought Leader of the Year award. I give them a lot of credit. They had a smile on their face and were being as professional as can be, but you could see in their eyes that they were mortified. It's like, can you believe this? And the fact of the matter is knowing them, I also know that when we talk about them getting that award, the first thing that comes to mind, can you believe those feathers? I still can't get over that. And those two individuals, the two award winners, their esteem for the organization fell dramatically after that event. In fact, I don't know that they were involved with them afterwards, unfortunately. So it really has can if the context or the surroundings or you don't think about it, especially if it's a big thing, it can have some real ramifications. So yes, it is Thanksgiving here pretty darn quick. I challenge you to bring the skills and competencies of please and thank you, noticing the good work of your colleagues, your coworkers, your direct reports. Bring it into your workplace or reinforce it in your workplace this week, next week, every week. If you do, there is plenty of data to suggest that it will provide you tangible bottom line results in your business and a very nice return on your intentional investment in gratitude and recognition. So consider this. Paid sick leave costs employers over $160 billion a year. I'm sure, not your company. Your company isn't hitting that 160 billion, but it's a cost in your business. Productivity losses have a direct impact on profitability and in turn your business valuation. According to the Work Institute's 2020 retention report, turnover costs about 1/3 of the coworker's salary. That adds up pretty dang fast. And if we can show a little more appreciation, even if it's that 40%, we touch 400 more lives that really do crave more recognition and attention. That can move the needle. That can help change the vibe and the culture in your organization to make it more energetic, get more done, collaborate and work through issues together more productively, as opposed to the quiet quitting that we're seeing where people are just saying, I'll just do the bare minimum and that's it. You have the opportunity to turn that around by showing more gratitude, appreciation, and instilling more courtesies throughout our workplaces. It doesn't take a mathematician to think about those monetary statistics to know that Mom was right. Please and thank you are powerful and truly magical words. So that's what we have for this week's show. I am very excited that you were able to join us today, and I hope you will come back for next week's show as well. As we wrap up, I encourage you to sign up for our newsletter. You can scan the QR code here to get on the newsletter and hear various tidbits about what's going on, also blogs written around family business. I work at the Family Business Consulting Group as well as at Providence Hill. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you're watching this around Thanksgiving, I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday. If it's sometime other Thanksgiving, I wish you much grace and gratitude. I've got a really good feeling about this. Go forward and transform your business. Kicking me out of my chair, dancing like I don't care.